So welcome back folks, this is Shardul Gavande from Ace Knowledge, and today we'll see the magic of Webview in Android. As in, if you have your website developed over there and it is live, and how can you just display or you can just show your website in your app within just a fraction of minutes by coding some stuff in Android and just populating your website in your app. So let's have a look over here. This is our Android Studio. I have already developed over here a GUI where you can see over here we just need to enter a URL and just click on the button go. Okay, so this is our first activity, or you can simply say your main activity. So here edit text with hint Android hint as URL, which is nothing but over here in the values, as we code in a traditional manner, enter your URL. This is the hint and the button name over here also. So this is the GUI coding. Now what we have to do is we have to let me get into the design view. We have to enter our any website website URL over here, and after clicking on go it must redirect to the next activity, and that particular website must be opened in the next activity, or you can say your second activity, or in your web view activity. Okay, so this is our first activity as of now. So let's create a second activity over here by clicking on new activity, and we'll say empty activity. We'll give the activity name as web view and we'll say finish. So here the second activity is been created. Over here it has an XML file by default, which is activity web view. We'll edit this constraint layout. We will have over here, you can take any layout. We'll take as of now linear layout. So to display your website in your app, your complete website in your application, you need to import here, or you need to write it over here as web view, as we have added text or text view for various GUI components. So for a website, to view your website in your app, you have a component, GUI component called as web view. So here we have declared a web view over here in the XML part. We'll say wrap contain and we'll give here an ID for web view. That particular web view we'll say as web. Okay, so here we are done with the web view part. So web view declaration part, GUI component of web view. Now let's come back to our main activity. We'll write here, we'll declare all our GUI components over here. Say an edit text. First was our edit text, so we'll say edit text. It was name was text. Then we have a button, so we'll take the button and we'll give a alias name as say btn. Next we want to pass the particular URL, right? So we need to declare string variable as URL. Okay, so now let's give the reference for them particular GUI component. We'll say text equal to into bracket edit text. We'll say find view by ID. We'll say r dot id dot, it was the name as text. Okay, now next we have button btn. We'll say button and find view by ID and say r dot id dot submit. As the button name we have given, ID of the button is submit. Now we'll set our on click listener btn. We'll set on we'll say btn dot set on click listener new. We'll say view on click listener. Okay, so here a method has been created for button click event, and in this, so what we want is on click of this button the URL must be fired. Okay, and it must be visible to it must be passed on, this data must be passed on to webview.java, and it must be viewed over there. So two important things we need to do. First is to set an on click listener event for this particular button, which we have already done, and the second thing is to pass this particular URL to this particular .java file. And we now know how to pass data from one activity to another so with the help of nothing but intent. So we will use intent to pass this particular data in this webview.java file, right? So now let's start over here, coding over here. We'll say we'll take this URL, we'll take this particular URL over here. This URL has been entered in the edit text, right? So we'll pass the value of this edit text into this URL string. Okay, so we'll say URL is equal to text dot, this text is nothing but the ID of the name of the edit text. Okay, so text, we'll say text dot get text dot to string, so that in order to convert it into readable format, so we'll say dot get text dot to string. And we have intent over here, the famous terminology in Android without which we can do nothing, as data passing is very much important in any of your application. So we'll say new intent, and we'll pass the data from our main activity dot this comma to our webview dot class. Fine. So and we'll say over here as intent dot, we need to put extras as we are passing the data from one activity to another. So we'll say intent dot put extras. So put extra is basically used to pass your data from one activity to another. Okay, we'll say URL, we'll give the in double quotes value as URL and pass the string URL over here. So it automatically comes over here once you just type the particular start letter of that word. And we'll say start activity, and we'll say intent. So this is with our main activity coding. We have declared GUI components, given the reference to them, and passed the data, the URL from this particular main activity to our webview.java activity. So now it's time to code into this webview activity. So before that, as we have taken webview over here, you can see it in the design part of webview, as we have taken that component, and we'll now just code in the webview part. Okay, so now in webview we'll declare our webview over here, say as private webview, we'll give a name as webview only, and we'll say here again a string of URL, so as to get that particular URL into this activity. And we'll say over here, let's give the reference of webview. We'll say webview equal to into bracket webview, we'll say find view by id r dot id capital R dot id dot, we'll say web. Okay, now we'll pass the URL over here. We'll say URL equal to get that particular URL, we have get intent method dot get string extras, and we'll pass that URL string over here. Okay, the URL which we have passed in double quotes, we'll pass that particular URL over here, so as to understand to take the value from this URL. Fine. So now comes the coding part for WebView. So now we want our website to be loaded in a WebView, right? So for that, well, in the website there are images, text, etc., all stuff like that. So text, they are automatically loaded to load a particular image which has a heavily loaded image which takes a time to load. For that, images on the website, we have to load that particular image. So we will say as webview dot get settings dot set, we'll say load images automatically. Okay, and we'll set the boolean value as true. Now we also have we have JavaScripts over there on our browsers, right, to load particular some functionality of your website or any of your website which asks you the permission to enable your JavaScript from your browser. So we want the same in our application, right? So we'll say here as WebView. So there are many methods in WebView through which you can load image, or you can say any different kind of stuff which is there on website and you want to access it. So we have a methods over there. So these are the basic methods used generally, or you can say the standard methods which are normally used for viewing your website in your application. So we'll say get settings dot will enable the JavaScript. So we'll say set JavaScript enable. See, we have JavaScript open windows also, so we'll take this as we have to just enable a JavaScript. We'll say JavaScript enable and set the value as true. Fine. Now we want so website is not just of is not about to fit to our mobile screen, right? It is scrollable. We scroll and scroll and scroll, keep on scrolling. So we need to add scroll view, or you can say scroll bar, to our web view. So we have here as web view dot get settings. As I said, there are many methods. For as of now, we'll say as not get settings, we'll directly say as we have set set scroll bar style, and we'll specify how we want a scroll bar, as in inset, outside, or overlay, etc. So as of now, we'll say over scroll bars overlay. So where is that scroll bars? Let me type it. Scroll bars underscore. Yeah, see, we have over here many scroll bars: inside scroll bar, inset, inside overlay, outside inset, and many over here. So we can choose any one from this as per our requirement, or as per our view, how we want our view to be set. So I'll take this scroll bar inside overlay. Oops, it didn't came. What's happening? Let me type it again. It says scroll bar. Is the spelling right? Okay, yeah, scroll bar inside overlay. Fine. So here we can see our scroll bar view has been set, and now we'll say as web view we have to load that particular URL. Okay, so we have a method as load URL, and we'll pass that string URL over here. So we are done with the web view part. Web view to load images, to enable JavaScript, and etc. So now now we want to create a particular class. Let me tell you that in websites there are not only one pages, there are many pages, right? When you click on a particular image, or you can say a particular button or anything on a website which has a redirection to another page, you go to multiple pages. There is not only a single page website. There are single page websites, but most of them they have many pages. So what if you click on a particular image or button, you redirect to new page? So in app we want that functionality too in web view. So for that reason, you have to extend your web view client to access those multiple pages. So we have over here, as we declare here as private class, we'll give a name of the class as say callback, and we'll extend this particular class. We need to extend it to web view client. So we can see over here as web view client. Okay, so now we need to override some methods in order to show those multiple web pages. So we'll say generate and override. We'll say should override URL loading, and we'll say okay. So now you can see over here that a line is being shown. It says that overrides deprecated methods. That means this method is no longer available, or you can say they have modified this method. So we have to, but I don't know why it is not updated. So we have to we need to edit this. We'll say as over here, we'll just write as we'll remove this particular string from here, and we'll say web where is the web? We'll say web resource request, and we'll ask for the request, and here we'll say as return, we'll say return into bracket, and we'll say false. So that method is deprecated, so that is the reason it was showing a line. And finally we need to call this particular class. So we'll say here we'll call it over here as webview dot set web view client, and we'll say new and callback. So we need to call that particular class over here, and that's it. We are done with this part. Now let's check. But so now let's run our program. I'll click over here. I've plugged my mobile to my laptop and we'll say okay over here. So before that, make sure that you have given your internet permission in your manifest. Okay, so without this internet permission you won't be able to run your application. You will be able to run your application, but you can't view anything. So here you can see now the app has been loaded on my phone, but here on the device, on the visor, it has been slow. It is a little slow. So I'll type the URL over here of our sponsors for Ace Knowledge, who are WebSync Solutions. So we'll say we'll type their website URL. WebSync, we'll say websyncsolutions.co.in. Okay, so I've typed it over here, the URL, and we'll hit the button go. So it should redirect, according to the code, it should redirect to Webview, and you can see it over here. The website has been launched on our webview.java file. So see, this is the website, WebSync Solutions, and scrollable as overlay. So you can see it over here. Overlay means on the website the scroll must be seen, scroll bar must be seen. So this is how it works. So your whole and soul website just in your app within just coding of few just coding of few minutes. Yeah, so that's the magic of Webview over here. So that's it from this video. Thank you so much, and please do subscribe.